What I want is not just the sport, but also the program. So I taught amateur sports law for about 12 years, and I would ask my students, how many of you all have lifelong health injuries as a result of your high school sports experience? And half my students raised their hand. The least number I ever had was a third. So they have a lifelong health issue because of high school sports. I think that is the most absurd thing in the world. I trained at the highest possible level that there is to train, and had no orthopedic, and it was not because I had some unique freakish body. It was because my coaches and I you're constantly working, I'm sure you guys will agree, that virtually every day you're like, what can I do, you got to recognize, like, where's the knife's edge if you want to push it to the absolute max, but you don't want to tip over, you don't want to get sick or injured. And where is that line, and making sure that you don't cross that line is a daily experience. And to have high school athletes tell me, well, my coach knew I was injured, but I needed to go in because I was so much better than the person who would be coming in to replace me, that kind of stuff, that is, so right, so it's a good program, right? Swimming is not known for its, it's a high injury rate, but there are plenty of people who do have shoulder surgery or knee surgery. But it's mostly because they don't appreciate the limits of their own body. Virtually, there is no such thing as an athlete whose body can match their heart. Everybody's body can't do what they want to be able to do. So they have to, I saw tons of really great athletes who had just dripping with talent who never got that, and they were constantly sick or injured. They, get the mono or the long-term injury, they just couldn't kind of pull it together. And then I want a sport the big three, football, baseball, basketball, men in all male sports, their risk of sexual assault on women is much, much higher than the average population. And what's lower is men on co-ed teams. So men on co-ed teams would be like swimmers, track and field athletes, a lot of tennis players or volleyball players, they work out together, whatever, so the risk goes way down. So when I'm looking at what's a sport that I want for my kids, I absolutely want them in co-ed sports. Both my son, my 13-year-old, my twin girls, I want them in co-ed sports. I want them in a sport that has a basic fundamental respect for the human body and doesn't look at it as human fodder, cannon fodder that's going to go out and be all about winning. So those are kind of things that I look for. I look for, what's going to be the best for them in their 80, 100 years of life, and not just in, what's going to make them, any other metric that you can think of.